This conference will now be recorded.
Hi all, performance testing with JMeter, right? Core to advanced level. Today will be day 4. So as a recap, we from day 3 we enter into core concepts of performance testing, right? All these things, and we talked about this, and then late we started this HTTP protocol, right? Now this day 4, okay. So we'll talk about the schemas of HTTP protocol, which are like this request, response, headers, request method, status code. So see, like how there is a request, fine. We do anything, then one request is getting fired. That is called the main request, right? The HTTP HTML request. In browser F12, you see it reference will be look like in document. Okay, document. Now, uh, that request, right? That has sub requests which are called embedded resources. This all we have known. Now we do not have to focus much on the embedded resources, right? Now what we have to do is, see, when this request is going to the server, we receive the response, right? Now this request is divided into two parts, right? That is called a request body and request header. The request that is going in, going back to the server, every request, fine. It is divided into two parts: request body and request header. And same with the response that comes from the server side, that is divided into two parts again: response body and response header. So we will see that. So you will see this all stuff right in any browser. We will open Amazon.in. See the first request here, right? Amazon.in. Type or initiator its document, right? I'll click on this. So when we click on this, so you see here in the header part, you'll see this thing, correct? And below, if you scroll, you will see heading response header. Response header generally it comes up, and downside will be the request header, correct? For any request, we'll see one more request. Just say this appliance. I'll click on this air condition. Right. Same way, one more request, right? And if you see response header and downside request header. Okay. So any request, remember, any request that goes to the server, that is divided into two parts, that is request body and request header. Now, uh, now what? Yeah. So what is there in request body? Okay. So generally in the request body, the URL, the URL that is there, right? This URL that is there, that that will be coming in request body. Fine, the URL. Then we have the this user data or user inputs. Correct. Now what are user inputs? This is also known as payloads. Correct. So see, sometime suppose there is a Nokia or .com something, and you are uploading the file over there. Now, uh, when you upload the file, so that file also goes to the server. So that file, any photo on Facebook, Instagram, whatever. So that will be also part of request body plus the user input. Like suppose you are on a page, you are filling some forms or entering username, password, or you are entering this uh, anything, bank data, OTP, whatever, address, right? So those user input that you are filling, and then you submit button or whatever, or you are putting username and password, and then you are clicking on sign in. So what happens is that also goes to the server with that request. So that also comes as a part of request body. Okay, all this can be called as payloads. They are also called as payloads. You can see here sometime you will in request form, a request tab, you will see those payloads. I will show you uh, example. Login somewhere. See, uh, see the username and password that I sent in request tab. It's showing here. Right. Sometime here it will be showing as a payload also in some browser. Like if you try the same in Google Chrome, it will show you payload. So that also goes, right. This request, it has went to the server. Correct. So like that, any data will be going. So all those will be consisting. All those are the part of request body. Okay. Then we have request header. I'll come to request header later on. First, we'll understand response header. Whatever the stuff, right? The code, the response which always comes in code format, right? We know that. Like suppose this response, it must have came in the code format, right? Okay, so this is the code. So basically, this code came to us, right? So this whole code, right? That is the part of response body. Response body. And so this response, the response data returned by the server, that is what response body. That is generally in the format text or HTML code format. And that code, right? That is what rendered or processed by a browser, which makes the web page look beautiful. That way. Correct. So this will consist the request body, request and response body. Now each has request header and response header. So what is there in request header? In request header, there are some additional information which goes to the server with the request body from user end, basically from the browser side. Okay, basically browser sends this. User do not send this. Okay, these are browser generated additional information. Fine. So with every request, this will be going. So here, see the request, any request, right? And downside, if you see request header. So actually, if you see this, right, I'll just zoom them up a little bit. Here you can see, right? So these are the additional information, right, which goes to the server with the request body, right? Whenever we do any action which request is going, right? So that request body is going, right? With that request body, these request headers will be going from user end. Basically, user end means basically from the browser, they are generated. User do not have to do anything. They are automatically generated by the browser and they are sent to the server with that request body, correct? Okay, those are request header. These are information like some name I have just kept here, like accept encoding, accept language, cache control, connection, cookie, JSON ID, all these things, referral, user engine. So you see here all these things, right? Generally you'll find this common everywhere on any website. Accept encoding, language, cache control, connection, cookie, you know, for now. Okay, generally user agent, host, one referrer will be there some also. So this generally you will find on everywhere common. The name will be common. Okay, on any website. This value will change. All you see, right? It can change, and we do not have to remember about this. If you think that we have to remember this. No. Okay, we do not have to remember this. We have to just understand the concept. Okay, this value, what are they, from where they are coming, what is this? No, do not worry about that. And so they are additional information sent to the server with request body from user end, basically from the browser. Each request body has request header. Each request that is going, right, it will be having request header. Same as a response header. Now, the response that is coming, it will be having response header also. Response body, response header. So again, these are additional information sent by the server. Okay, these are sent by the server with the response body to the user. With the response body to the user. Okay. So here you can see response headers. Again, here also you'll see accept, escape. Many things are there. Again, if you ask me, I also do not know many things, right? What they mean. Okay. But yeah, few I know, but we do not have to go in that details, right? Do not worry. Cache control, encoding, language, right? Date, see cookies, all those things. So this will be their attribute, right? Or you can say name, and these are the value which keeps on changing. These you will find common in most of the website. These fields will be common here, or these will be common. This keeps on changing depending on website to website. Okay. So again, we do not have to worry about them. As I said, we have to just understand the concept. So response headers, correct? They are additional information that comes from the server side, right? With the response body to the user. So some important attribute that are there, I have kept there. Now each response body that is coming from the server that has uh, response header. Okay, so that is what the request that is going in, divided into two types: request body and request header. And the response that is coming is divided into two types: response body and response header. Now, why they are there? Okay, so we know that main data is going in response body. The URL, the payload, the file, whatever that is going in request body. That is going with the request body to the server. Server means what? Always remember, server means the application. Okay, any application which we will be doing testing application. And same, the response, the main response that is coming, that comes in response body only. Then why they are there? Header, they are not generated by us also. plus they do not contain the main information, right? But why they are there? This question will be there, right? So see, this headers and response headers make each user action, right? Each request unique to the server, so that the server can recognize that request uniquely out of so many requests and sends the correct response. What is the meaning of this is, I'll take understand like this. You open, suppose you open two different Google Chrome in your laptop. We can open, right, multiple Google Chromes. So you open two different Google Chrome. In both you open Flipkart, and in here you search like Nike shoe, suppose. Here you search Adidas. Okay. Now we'll see, it will never happen that this result will come in this browser and the result will come in this browser. It will never happen. Even the laptop is same, even the browser is same, even the IP address is same, right? Because you will be using only one IP address. IP address means what? The connection through which you are connected to the internet, right? Outside, maybe your mobile network or the Wi-Fi, right? That will be the IP address. Everything is same, but so do not think that the application can get confused, because I have I have same IP address, I have same laptop, I have same Google Chrome, and on both Google Chrome I have same website. Now here I'm searching Nike, here I'm searching Adidas. So this result can come here and this result can come here. It can happen. You can think like, but it doesn't happen. Even everything, many things are same. Why? Because of those headers. So these headers make each request. They help server recognize each request uniquely out of so many requests. Because let us say Flipkart is there, right? So many users are sending requests to that 10 lakh users daily sending requests. How that server is knowing to whom to send what, to which user to send what content, right? That is where these headers comes in picture, and they are the responsible for this stuff. Okay, that is why the headers are there. That is the importance of header. Then we have method, right? So we that is what the schema, request response header. We have request method and a status code. Generally, the HTTP protocol has 8 kind of request methods. They are get, post, put, delete, options, head, connect, and trace. Right. So get request, any request, right? Any request which is just sent to the server just to get the information, that will be called as get request. I'll tell you get request in more detail here. To fetch the information from the application. Generally, see, any click that you are doing on a website, right? Any click, okay? Everything on a website, if you think, that is click only. You click somewhere, okay? You think, suppose submit button. You are filling and you are doing submit. That is click. So most of the action on a website is a click only, and that click is what user action, and it is a transaction technically, and it generates the request to the server, right? So generally the click, okay? When you are sending nothing, now what is the meaning of that? See, I am here on this website, and uh, I'm just, these options are given to me from the website only. I have to just click on them. Okay, I have to just click. I'm not sending any data. Whatever the option is available to me, I'm choosing and say, clicking like that, right? So generally, those kind of request is get request. So you can see here. I'll just click on this refrigerator or this AC conditioners. So see, get request. Okay, if you click here, you get request. Most of the 90% of the request on any website is generally get request. Get means you are just clicking to get the information. Means that option was given, that air conditioner option, and we have clicked on that, right? Because we want to know more about that, right? Website has given me this option. I have to just click so that more detail can come, more option can come. So that is what fetching the information from the server. Those all are generally GET requests. 90% of requests are GET requests. Then we have post and put. Post request, okay, they submit data to be processed, or we can say like to create a new value or data in database, or sending some data, okay, or user inputs. So what will be post request? Let us say there is a form is there. You are sending username and password. The Flipkart example that I have just shown you, you can also try. You will see that will be post request because you are putting username and password and you are doing sign in. So you are sending some content from your side to the server. Okay, so post request. So, or you are on page, you are filling some all those things, right? And I think yeah, there is some audio issue. Let me know if my audio is lagging. Okay, so you are filling some address or credit card number or pen card, whatever, right? The details you are filling or photo you are uploading. That is what you are sending something. So those will be post request. Okay. Then we have put request. Put request. So generally 90% request will see 80-90% request get, and 10% request will be generally put request. These requests we will find very rare. Okay. Put request generally very rare you will find in API testing. Put requests are there. Okay. Now uh see this update, right? So to update an existing value in the application or database or create a new value, it means sometime let us say there is already some data is there and you are sending some data to update that existing record. Okay, you can think one example I'll tell. This I cannot show you because this put request happen very rarely, right? So thing like that, suppose you have put some address on your Flipkart account or Amazon account, right? And next time you want to update that, right, with new record like that. So those will be put request updating, correct? In interview, they will ask question between put and post and put. Very common question it will come. What is difference between post and put? Okay. So tell them, all right, put post is we are sending some data, or sometime we creating new data also or new record also, right? Here it's written creating new data or sending existing data to the server like login and other thing. That is post. That will be post request. Put request will be used for updating any existing record. Very simple. That will be the answer. Sometime put request is used to create a new value. Okay, sometime, but generally very rare. Post request, let us say you are doing you are on a page, you are doing registration. Means suppose you want to open a Google Gmail account, right? So you will fill the form, right? Name, password, phone number, all the thing. So that first time you are sending data to the Google, your data. So it doesn't mean that, so you are creating new value to the database, right? So it will be post request. Until unless you are updating, it will not be a put request. Yeah, okay, it will be generally post request. Put is only for when you are updating. Only in very rare case, put is used for creating new record. Very rare case it happens. So you can get confused with this. But I am telling this happens very rarely. Okay, on some websites. Correct. Then we have this put is also called as patch. Okay, patch. In API testing, it's common, but in generally normally on website transactions, put request is very rare, very rare. Same goes at delete. Okay, delete. It is used for deleting any value or any data in the application. Again, in API testing, we'll see generally this. In normal website transaction, you'll not see this. Fine. Next. Then we have these all options: head, connect, and trace. Out of these options, you'll find options. Okay, generally on many a website, you will see option request will be made before post request. Okay, before post request. Suppose there is a post request going. So sometimes how it is designed is before post request, you will see options request will be fired. Options request are nothing, right? They do not do anything. They are just they are pre-flight request executed generally before post request. Okay, simply they are called by the server, not server, by browser. They are sent by the browser these options request just to and they will be generally executed before post request just to check that uh, that connection is okay or not. Okay, they do not hold any importance. Fine. So those are options requests, and then this head, connect, and trace. They very rare this will happen. What they do, I have written here. But again, if you ask me, even in my life also, these three requests I have not seen till now. Okay, but they are there, right? You will see what get post options most of the time. Put and delete you will see in API testing. Okay, when you are doing either functional API testing or performance API testing, you'll see these. You will see very rare, 0.01 chance you will see this kind of request, but they're there. Right now, out of these four are important. As I said, they do what uh, CRUD operation kind of thing. CRUD is what? CRUD is SQL. Uh, in SQL language, we use this CRUD thing. Correct. CRUD is for create, read, update, and delete. In SQL language, we use this CRUD operations, right? If you suppose you want to retrieve something from the database, retrieve means you want to get something from database, which statement you'll use? Select a statement, right? Then if you want to update something in the database, sorry, insert a value in the database, so you'll be using insert a statement, correct? So this select is what basically get here. This insert is what post. If you want to update something, update any value, update a statement that will be put. And for delete we have delete, right? So same like how these concept work, these behavior of this kind of methods is same, right? Same with they also behave. Now next, transactions. Okay, now we'll understand transaction in little bit detailed manner. So till now, till yesterday, what I told that a user action, correct, a user action is technically called a transaction. And user action is what? Any click that we do on website, on any website, anything we do, that is a user action, and that is will be technically called transaction. But can every action, any user action, can every user action can be called transaction? That we have to understand. So answer is no. Okay. Anything that you do on website, that is not a transaction. Remember, what are called transaction? First, we have to understand that. The user action are technically called transaction. I have told, fine. But which user action will be called as transaction? Okay, that we will understand. So see, a transaction is an user action performed on by any user on a web page which generates HTTP HTML request to the server in the form of URL, right? In the form of URL. Now, a user action can only be called a valid transaction in performance testing when it is generating some request to the server and some response is received. Okay. So meaning of this is, until see, whenever you are doing anything, this is a website. Parallelly, you open the F12 dev tool and you just check that whatever you are doing, let us say you clicked on something. So when you are clicking on something, so does any valid request going here to the server and any response is received? Until unless, right, some request is sent to the server and some response is received, that user action cannot be called as transaction. Only when this happens, only when some request is sent to the server and some response is received, that user action will be called as transaction. So very simple example, let us say. Okay, this pop-up login menu is there. Right now, what I'll do, I'll fill some detail here. Here some requests are being made, so ignore them. Okay, why I'm saying to ignore them? You can get confused what even I'm not doing anything. Here some requests are being made. Like if you see FTP collector. So when I'm sitting idle, I'm not doing anything, right? So actually what happened, these are live website. Live website means real website. So what happened, there's some many requests are many things are set up, right? Like for an example, I'll tell you, suppose some request will be there, means this website will be designed in such a manner that it will track the activities of the user, or how many from where the network traffic is coming, means on the website from which part of the country which user is using, right? Just to check the log, right? You must have heard this news, like all the e-commerce website or any business website, they track the traffic to check, like from on their website from which area uh, which users are coming, right? They all do, right? Hope you are aware. So how they do, because of some background traffic is happening. Okay, so these kind of, you see, I'm not doing anything, but again these requests are made, so we have to ignore this kind of request because they're live website. Okay, so this kind of mechanism is done. So do not ask me that these requests are related to any user action I'm doing here. From that time only, I'm sitting idle. Okay, so these requests you have to ignore. Generally, this FDP kind of thing are made. Ignore them. I'm clearing that. Okay, I'll putting some mobile number here. Okay, 9-digit mobile number I have entered, and I'll click on login. You see, again this is made again. You'll get confused. Just a second. 1, 2, 3, 6. See, ignore that is even though GIF, it's happening. Why when I'm clicking, it's coming. Fine, but this is GIF request. Okay, GIF means it's the image file. Okay, what I'll put this, not put password. But yesterday I explained, right? If you guys remember, I was doing same thing on this login, and here nothing was happening. I was explaining that also. So it doesn't mean that that was a transaction. Okay, put something. Okay, I'll clear this and I'll click on login. That image request is being made. Ignore. Okay, it's today it is coming. Yesterday that was also not coming. Fine, right? If you remember. So see, I put that and I click on enter. Here nothing happened. So I'll not see this, that this is a valid transaction. Okay. Same way, let us say I'll rectify this and I'll click on this login again. So again nothing happened. Here this message came. This is coming from because of JavaScript, right? The example that I explained yesterday. But here nothing is happening. So we cannot call it as login, valid transaction. Now, if I put here something, Suppose some password I'll put, some wrong password I'm giving, and then I'll do login. So now you see post request here, post, right? Because we are sending something, and one more post request, and then some other requests are also being made. This is image, we have to ignore image, anything we have to ignore, right? Okay. And these were FDP requests that I explained earlier, the background request going on. So generally these two requests being made, and before post you see options is being triggered, right? We just discussed. So when I put whole thing and then I clicked on login, then here properly the transaction happened, right? So what I'm saying that anything that, let us say I'm hovering the mouse here, see, this is boys toys and more, okay, beauty toys and more menu, and I'll hover mouse, you see drop down menu came, but anything on F12 side it's happening, no, right? So it doesn't mean that you just hover the mouse and here you got some displayed, something displayed, and that is, you will say it is also user action. Yeah, it is user action, but here anything happened, here nothing happened, right? I'll show you again. See, display came, but here anything is happening, no. So likewise we have to think like any user action cannot be called as a transaction, only those user action, any click, anything. When you are doing that and when a proper request is being made and a proper response is coming, then that user action will only be called as transaction. Okay, hope this is clear, right? Many unnecessary thing happens, but if that unnecessary user action doesn't make any request and response over here, those will not be called as transaction in performance testing. So generally like JavaScript calls, checkboxes, top down menus, pop-up, these are generally not a part of performance testing. Why? Because they will not generate the request and response. Okay. JavaScript call like on the just Flipkart login page I have just shown you, right? That if I'm entering the wrong username or I'm escaping the password, a toaster message is coming that hey, you have forgotten the password or your username is incorrect. So that is JavaScript thing is happening, but on F12 side nothing is happening. So we cannot call that as a transaction. Correct? Same way, suppose you'll be seeing that on any page sometime multiple checkboxes will come. We have to put a multiple checkboxes in that, or in drop down, from drop down we have to select anything, or some pop-up will come, you have to choose yes or no, like that, right? So you will be doing that, but you will be thinking, is it a valid transaction in terms of performance testing? So it is only valid if suppose there is a, you are on a web page and it came like yes and no, you have to choose anyone, and you are going to do that a transaction here, user action transaction, but can you call it as a performance testing, a transaction? So you can open F12 and you can check if I'm clicking on yes or no, any request is going or any response is coming. If it is not going, nothing is happening, that will not be part of means that will not be called as a transaction, and we cannot consider that is part of performance testing also, because that thing is happening on the user side, on user end. It has nothing to do with the server, right? Because nothing is happening, no, nothing is going to the server only, so that activity has nothing to do with server. That is why we have to ignore them. Correct. Only thing, when we do anything and some exchange, some data exchange is happening with the server, then then only we'll be calling that as a valid transaction. Now why, right? Why? Because that is what we are there, why we are doing performance testing, to check the load, to check the behavior of application when multiple user are putting the load, and to check the response time. Now, when I'm doing some activity and that activity is sending nothing to the server, so will that activity is putting any stress on the application? No, right? So that way, those activity which do not send any server, any request and response to the server, we have to ignore them. Okay, and they cannot be called as a valid transaction. Understand? Only any those activity, maybe sometime you can click on yes or no and you'll see some request is being made or response is coming, then that time you have to consider that as a transaction. Okay, and there can be multiple transaction on a single web page, right? Now this is important, very important. Okay, One transaction or one user action can consist of one HTTP HTML request or a set of multiple HTTP HTML requests to the server. Right? What is that? See, whenever we do one transaction, a request is going and response is coming. And parallelly for that request, when the response is coming, when that is processed, we see so many things in F12. Those are called embedded resources. Those embedded resources generally we have to ignore, right? Correct. But the main request will be generally one. Correct. Now that is what I am going to explain here. Very important. See, whenever you do one transaction, there can be one HTTP HTML request being made, or sometimes there can be multiple HTTP HTML requests being made to the server. You did one transaction, any transaction. So what will happen? There can be one request being made to the server, or sometimes there can be multiple requests being made to the server. Right. So I'll explain this. On Google only I'll explain. We have this example. Just say expect network. Suppose I'll open Google. Google.com, main request here, you see, document, type is document, and then rest are script, PNG, SVG file, style sheet, document. Yeah, they are there. Now, what I'll do, I'll click on sign in or Gmail. I'll click on Gmail. Oh yeah. So when I clicked on Gmail, you see here generally you'll see only one request, but in F12, if you, that is why we have to always check in F12. We have to always refer F12. You do not have to refer this. Why? Because I just click on login. I just click on sign in, right? So sign in was a transaction. You can give a name like click sign in transaction. But here you see how many requests being made. This many. 302, 302, 301, 302, and 200. Okay. These are called redirecting. What is redirecting? Other thing I'll be explaining in coming sessions. But you see, so just now, see this on any website this can happen. Just now I'll open just Google. So only one request being fired, and this page got loaded. Now what I'll do on the same page, I'll just click on Gmail, next transaction, and page got loaded. But this time, how many requests got fired? The main request I'm talking, not about the style sheet or this script or font. No, these are embedded resources. We are not talking about them. We're talking about this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, 5 main requests. So that is what I was talking. What is transaction that you got, right? And which user action we can call transaction, that also you got, right? Now a transaction, when you do a transaction, it can send one request to the server. Like just now when we launched the Google, it was one request. But when we clicked on Gmail, there were another transaction that we did. There were generally 5 requests, 4 or 5 requests, main request. Okay. So these are the things we have to identify, because we have to consider them. We have to consider, because these many requests are impacting. Action was only one, transaction was only one, but these many requests were being sent to the server. They were putting the load to the server. So we have to consider, right? Plus, they are interrelated also. How they are interrelated, we'll learn again in future. Because let us say you cannot directly fire this request. This is designed in such a way, like first this will go, then this will go, then will go. This needs to be fired in sequence, one after another. Okay, like this. You can see their name also, it is same, but uh, somehow it is designed like that only. I cannot say why, where it is designed. That is not our concern. That is developer how they have designed. Our concern is to understand. Okay, so we have to keep them. We have to consider them, right? Okay, same one more example I can show you. I did launch this one website, right? And you see one main request only. These all are style city script. We ignore them, right? Then so this is what only one request. Now I'll log in. Already username and password are here. Just log in. Now you see uh, three requests here. First this, then this, and then this. These above two are called redirecting. Right? We will learn about this status code. This is what we are going to learn. Just a second, I'll go back to the PPT. For the HTTP protocol, there are three things, right? Request response header and request method. We have covered all this. A status code I left, right? We will be talking about a status code later on, but for now I'll just explain. There are five kinds of status code. One is 1 not series, 100 series. One is 200 series. One is 300 series. One is 400 series, and one is 500 series. Okay, this is a request method we just discussed. Hopefully this way. A status code I have not discussed. We will discuss it later on, not now. But this is what it's displayed here. These are called status code. This is 302, means 300 series. This is 200 series. What they mean, we will talk later on. Okay. For now, yeah. So three requests here. Plus, here some more requests are also there, which I'll be covering later on. This website I'll be covering for practice. You see this XHR request. We have to consider them also. So how many here? You see one transaction, but three here, and then around 9 or 10 are here. Okay. Why we have to consider what they do? Their JSON request. Like yesterday also I told like one person was asking which to consider, which not to consider, right? So I told that there's a list. I'll explain. First, you have to remember that any request with these extensions, right? These all are embedded resources. So any request with this extension, you do not have to consider them. There are some requests which will be considered as the main request, right? And I'll be talking about them, correct? Right. So that is what. So later on we'll discuss that, but hope you got the clarity, right? Sometime one request can send one transaction when you do that will send one request. Sometime same one transaction can send multiple requests to the server depending on website to website. Okay. These requests are also called as calls or APIs. These main requests, the HTTP HTML requests are also called as calls or APIs. Okay, now going back here. So now we got the idea, right? What is request and response? What is transaction? So generally, this is what we record after identifying. This is what we have to do the recording. And in recording, we record that request and response for each transaction of any particular business scenario which you will be working on. Correct? This is what I'm explaining the phase 3. I came back to the phase 3, right? And after that, we do the enhancement. It's a big phase. And then this all stabilization and all the thing. Correct. So, so this is what core. Now two things is left in core. That is cookie and cache. Mm, no, it's not done yet. We have many things in core. One more day we will be talking on this. Cookie and cache is left, right? It will take 15 minutes to explain this. Then it will become late for you, right? So what I'll do, cookie and cache will this is part of day 4, but do not worry, this can happen. Some topic can go to next thing. I'll cover tomorrow because it will take 15 minutes at least to explain, right? So tomorrow I'll explain, and then we'll see this. Then from day 6 we'll enter back in JMeter to understand the J. Right. So those who are happy to with the sessions, please go ahead and make the payment. Correct. Yeah. So thank you for today. Actually, this could have been covered, but I we started means I started later. Okay, fine. So thank you for today.